If you're a defense contractor and you've been told to just treat CMMC like RMF, this video is for you. That mindset is quietly killing CMMC readiness, burning budgets on paperwork, and leaving the actual business unprepared for a C3PAO assessment. Today, the focus is why thinking of CMMC as RMF for contractors is not just inaccurate, it's strategically dangerous for your business. By the end of this video, you'll see why CMMC is an organizational capability, not a system authorization exercise, and how changing this mental model can save you months of rework. So in the federal world, RMF is the dominant mental model. It's NIST risk management framework. It was built to manage risk for information systems and integrate security into the system development lifecycle. The outcome in RMF is an authorization to operate, or an ATO, where a senior official accepts or rejects the residual risk of a system based on packages like the system security plan, the assessment results, and a plan of action and milestones documentation. But CMMC is not asking, can this government system go live? CMMC is asking, is this commercial business mature enough to consistently protect FCI and CUI across its people, processes, and technology? That difference, system-centric versus business-centric, is where a lot of defense industrial base contractors go off the rails. So let's be fair to RMF. RMF is a powerful framework. It gives you steps to categorize the system, select controls, implement, assess, authorize, and monitor. It's tailored to federal agencies and organizations that need a structured way to decide, do we allow this system to operate in production given its risk profile? So notice the unit of analysis, the system. You can draw the boundary. You describe the environment, its interfaces, interconnections, and you build an authorization package around that system. Yes, RMF acknowledges mission and business context at the agency level, but the real work, the real documentation, the real decision is still this system, this ATO. So when people tell a small manufacturer or an engineering shop, just treat CMMC like RMF, they're importing a system authorization mindset into a commercial business problem. And that's where the mismatch begins. The CMMC model is built on the NIST Special Publication 800-171, with additional emphasis at higher levels, and it's enforced via certification tied directly to DoD contracts. In plain language, no certification at the right CMMC level, no work on contracts that involve FCI or CUI. It's a gate to revenue, not an internal risk memo. So, CMMC scopes assets that process, store, or transmit CUI, plus the assets that provide security protections for them. It also classifies assets into CUI assets, security protection assets, contractor risk managed assets, and specialized assets. That already moves you beyond this one system into how does CUI actually flow through the business. The assessment process then dives into policy, procedures, training, HR, vendor management, incident response coordination, management oversight. This is organizational maturity, not just the system build review. So where RMF asks, is the risk of operating the system acceptable? CMMC asks, can this organization reliably protect CUI as part of how it does business day after day? Here's where the misconception hurts. If you treat CMMC as RMF, your instinct is write a massive SSP, map these controls, focus on technical tools, and call it a day. You may even pull in an RMF tooling, templates, or workflows. These are great for documentation, but not sufficient for what a C3PAO is actually going to test. So let's talk about each one of these. Overweighting system documentations. So teams pour effort into SSP and control narratives, but underdevelop repeatable processes like onboarding, offboarding, training cadences, vendor risks reviews, leadership review of the risk registers. CMMCs will absolutely read your SSP, But they're going to also ask you, show me how you actually do this. Show me those tickets, those logs, those HR artifacts, the change approvals. The second one is underscoping the business. RMF thinking gravitates to narrow system boundaries. However, with CMMC, the scoping guides intentionally pull in shared services like identity, logging, configuration management, ticketing, secure communications, and more. So even in an enclave strategy, enterprise-wide functions like training, policy management, incident response, and vendor management extend outside the enclave. Ignore those, and your scope story falls apart in the assessment. The third one is ignoring business owners and operations. RMF projects often live inside IT or cybersecurity. CMMC success requires leadership commitment, budget, HR involvement, contracts/procurement alignment, and an actual management review cycle. So if owners and executives think that this is just, oh, the IT system is just getting another ATO, they don't change how the business runs CUI projects. And that gap shows up quickly to a C3PAO. RMF-style trappist thinking. We'll buy a tool and close gaps. You see this a lot in GRC tools. But CMMC explicitly calls out that software-only solutions without mature processes and accountability will not get you there. Tools are evidence generators. They don't replace the need for defined processes, documented roles, and trained people. So the takeaway is RMF artifacts help, but RMF thinking alone is not enough. CMMC is evaluating how your business behaves around CUI, not just how one system was built. So if you're advising executives or you are that executive, you need a better mental model than CMMC as RMF. Describe CMMC as building an organizational capability to protect CUI. That capability lives in governance. Those are policies, management oversight, risk acceptance, and strategic decisions about where CUI lives. Operations, how projects are staffed, how vendors are chosen, how changes are made, how incidents are handled. And most importantly, culture, training cadence, awareness, and day-to-day habits like how people share files, use personal devices, and respond to anomalies. So when leadership sees CMMC as a business capability, they understand why decisions about M&A, new product lines, remote work, or outsourcing can impact compliance. You can't outsource accountability for how your business handles CUI. So instead of saying, we'll run an RMF project on your network, explain, we're going to design how your business will handle CUI, its people, processes, and technologies, so you can confidently pass your CMMC and keep that revenue stream. That shift moves the conversation from documentation costs to protecting and growing a line of business tied to your national security work. So this is where RMF still helps. None of this means that you throw RMF away. RMF gives you a strong discipline around categorizing, selecting controls, documenting system environments, and assessing effectiveness. For more complex DIB environments, which are multi-system, cloud-heavy, or integrated with government systems, RMF-style thinking can help you plan risk-based control implementation in a structured way. So use RMF to help you design control baselines for different enclaves or business units, standardize the assessment methods and evidence collection, align technical decisions with broader mission and business objectives, which is explicitly part of modern RMF guidance. But always be clear with stakeholders. The goal is not an ATO. The goal is a CMMC certification that reflects how our business actually runs. Here are practical steps to realign. First, let's reset the narrative with leadership. Explain that CMMC is a control-critical, organization-wide capability, not an internal system authorization exercise. Tie the CMMC to revenue, tie to trust from your clients, trust from your customers, and it is a competitive differentiation within the DIB. The second part is that you need to scope the business, not the network. Map CUI where it actually flows. Is it in sales? Is it in contracts, engineering, manufacturing, support? And which systems and people touch it? Use CMMC asset categories to classify CUI assets, security protection assets, contractor risk managed assets, and specialized assets. And then build repeatable business processes. Define and document onboarding and offboarding with access control. Put training together and make sure that NDAs are baked in. Stand up a vendor risk review that factors CMMC and CUI handling into the purchasing and contracting decisions. And finally, use RMF where it fits. Leverage that RMF-like rigor for complex enclaves and shared services, but don't let RMF jargon obscure the fact that CMMC is grading how your company behaves. So the next time someone says, just treat CMMC like RMF, push back. RMF is about systems and ATOs. CMMC is about your business and its ability to safeguard CUI as part of its daily operations. If you want help designing CMMC as a business capability, from scoping and asset categorization to process design and tooling, reach out. This is what keeps your place in the defense supply chain. If this video helped reframe the conversation, like, subscribe, and share it with anyone in the DIB who's still stuck in that RMF mindset.